Bob Iger's invincible era is over. That's quite a headline, isn't it? Jeez, who'd have thought that? Who'd have thought mainstream media turning on Mr. Iger? Well, it's happening. It's happening. This is all to do with the Disney Nelson Peltz proxy fight, and we're seeing pretty major moves against Bob Iger. Is this sharks sniffing blood in the water? Is this what's happening? Are they circling a dying animal that is Disney? Maybe. It's certainly fascinating. So we're going to take a look at this. Hit subscribe if you're new here and turn the bell notifications on. So let's go. Again, this is a headline on The Hollywood Reporter with this hilarious little image. And it's not just that. We also have this. Nelson Peltz wins backing of another shareholder firm in Disney proxy fight. There's a few things going on here that are pretty major. But I wanted to get into this one first, because this sort of sets the stage, I think, for the general turning of the tide. Bob Iger's invincible era is over. After a major Wall Street firm signs with activist Nelson Peltz ahead of April 3 shareholders meeting, investors are questioning how the CEO plans to plot out growth and his own succession. Because that's the thing, right? It's all well and good him consistently saying, this is going to scarper our plans. Don't vote for Nelson. But you've not actually given the plan. You've just said he doesn't understand Disney. Well, very clearly, neither do you. Very clearly, in fact, by the negative box office that's been coming back more and more lately. And dumb decisions. Like, constantly. Where's the plan? What is the actual plan? Where's the succession plan? What's going on? So if Bob Iger were a Marvel superhero, his power would be persuasion. The Disney CEO has long leaned on his ability to convince others of his plans. Yeah, although we've not got any. From film and TV writers, directors and stars, to Disney shareholders, to the company's own board members, Iger's track record has been impeccable. Yeah. Consider possibly the most important deal he ever led, Disney's $4 billion acquisition of Marvel Entertainment in 2009. While Marvel's success since then is not in dispute, at the time the idea of Disney chasing young men via the comic book brand was seen as a real risk. In 2019 memoir, The Ride of a Lifetime, Iger recalls how he pitched a skeptical Steve Jobs on the deal. And then we've got more stuff, but I mean, this is just a bit of background into terms of who he is. You know, it talks about Nelson Peltz, talks about Ike Perlmutter, even says this, 15 years later, Disney finds itself at a crossroads, facing a bitter proxy fight with Nelson Peltz and his Trian partners, who are backed by billions of dollars in Disney stock owned by Perlmutter, all set to come to a head next week, April 3rd, at Disney's annual meeting, which will be incredible to watch. I can't wait for it. The former Marvel chairman, who was let go last year in a round of corporate cost-cutting, plays a shadow role in Peltz's push, with the Trian chief telling Financial Times in an interview, "Why do I have to have a Marvel that's all women? Not that I have anything against women, but why do I have to do that? Why can't I have Marvel that are both? Why do I need an all-black cast?" It's a perfectly reasonable statement to question. And Peltz said of Marvel chief Kevin Feige, "I question his record." Again, mirroring comments from Perlmutter and sparking a rebuke from Disney, which noted that the $30 billion at the box office, Feige is the top grossing producer of all time. Grossing, not net. It's not $30 billion profit. That matters. Like, the actual P&L of something matters, profit and loss, like, that does matter. $30 billion gross, yeah, sure, it's great. It's massive. But how much of that is profit? So Iger's been pulling out all the stops to convince Disney shareholders. Yeah, that he really has, actually. And he's been trying to say that basically Peltz is a distraction. They're going to turn the company around. Peltz is he's in the way. He's going to hurt the company rather than help it. And it says the following: this campaign is in a way designed to distract us, to take our eyes off all those bulls. Well, what bulls? The ones that you're sucking down Kevin Feige's? Because I don't see any plan here. I don't see any balls. I don't see any sort of pawns on the chessboard moving. I don't see the plan. I don't think anyone sees the plan. Do what, more of the same? No one wants that. That's boring. That's going to just lead to ruin, financial ruin for the shareholders. It says this, but the end game remains uncertain. Iger and the Disney board have lined up a murderer's row of public supporters, securing letters of support from Laureen Powell-Jobs, Michael Eisner, JP Morgan CEO Jamie Dimon, George Lucas is on it as well, who apparently disagrees with Iger about the right approach for future films in the sci-fi universe. But yeah, he's still on there. Disney secured letters of support from the families of Walt Disney, Roy Disney, including Abigail Disney. I mean, it's just, but this is all placation. We've not seen anything. But there has been surprise recommendations from Institutional Shareholder Services on March 21st to vote for Peltz over current Disney board member Maria Elena Lago-Messino. And there's another one as well. So, again, another shareholder firm said, no, you should probably back Nelson Peltz, actually. That's Egan Jones is recommending Disney shareholders vote to add Nelson Peltz and Jay Rasulo to the studio's board of directors. The firm also backed Peltz's Trian partners in recommending shareholders withhold their votes for current Disney board members Michael B.G. Froman and Maria Lago-Messino. That follows Institutional Shareholder Services coming out as the first advisory firm. So 2 advisory firms, pretty big. And they said the following: we see very little downside and a lot of upsides in putting the Trian nominees on the board. Yeah. And they even weighed up Disney's operating performance. The advisory firm argued that the studio has an outdated business model that fails to be, and quote, forward-looking and flexible enough to ensure future success, which is what you want if you're paying money into it. So there you go. I mean, also said dissident nominees Peltz as a significant shareholder could be additive to the succession process, providing assurance to other investors that the board is properly engaged this time around. He could also help evaluate future capital allocation decisions. So basically saying, having Nelson Peltz on board could actually mean that Bob Iger will actually leave this time, considering he hasn't ever left. So there's so much stuff here. So much. And it even says, the voting heads into the final stretch. Iger's persuasion skills have been in full effect. Iger unleashed a barrage of announcements. Moana 2. No one cares. The Taylor Swift Eras Tour. It's on Disney Plus. No one cares. Or some Swifties care. Bank of America's Jessica Reif Elric, for example, reacted to the report with a note titled Bundles of Joy, writing that in a little over a year since returning to the company as CEO, Bob Iger's actions are already having an impact. Moreover, the company has undertaken bold, decisive steps to address the evolving landscape. They've not done anything. Not done anything. But here's the fun stuff. But as powerful as Iger is, even he has recognised the risks of his own influence. Being atop a company that is so well known, the power of my voice is so much greater than it ever was, and sometimes than I ever expect it to be. I'm much more careful with how I use it, either when I say something or what I say or how I say it. This was in an interview in 2019. Iger himself recalled a dispute with David Lynch over when to reveal a key plot point in his series Twin Peaks. Deep down, I felt David was frustrating the audience, but it may well be that demands for an answer to the question of who killed Laura Palmer threw the show into another kind of narrative disarray. David might have been right all along. Yeah, who'd have thought David Lynch was right all along? For God's sake. Yet most significantly for Iger, his reputation for making the right call on the right time has been punctured in Disney's ever-evolving succession process. This seems to be the thing everyone's leaning on, is like the succession. Indeed, the question was at the heart of the ISS recommendation. The ill-fated decision to name Bob Chapek CEO of the Walt Disney Company in early 2020 was, it seems, as abrupt as it appeared publicly. ISS wrote in its blistering report that Chapek's sudden appointment at the onset of the pandemic was not a result of a rigorous process, by the board's own admission, during an engagement with ISS. So why would you keep these people on the board? You need different people on the board. It appears that there was no structured board-mandated interview process, and that the board primarily relied on Iger's judgment in making this decision, which is not what you want. And that's the reason why, is because Iger wanted it that way, and Chapek was doing as he was told, and so was the board. Which begs the question of why somebody who was being considered as a contender to succeed Iger hadn't been working on those relationships well before the transition. Because Bob Iger didn't want someone to succeed him, that's why. There's so much stuff. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. But the thing is, this is just a hit piece, which is fascinating to see. Like, genuinely fascinating to see. Because you've got to remember, everyone was on side with Bob Iger. This is the... We're starting to now see everyone going against him, which is, again, that shark circling in the water type of approach. So what do you guys think? Let me know down below. Genuinely curious. Cheers, guys. Take care. Bye-bye now.